Okay. Hi. Is it episode 10? Let me check my YouTube right now. Is it episode 10? Oh my god. Okay. I don't have permission. Cool. Oh my god. Hi, guys. Happy episode 10. It's episode 10. We did 10 whole episodes. Well, I guess I have to actually do this episode first. Sorry to be distracted on my laptop. My hair's a little bit wet today. Sorry if that offends anybody. Um, it's horrible raining, horrible outside. I try to go to my first class. Sorry, I'm just hopping right in. I try to go to my first class, and while I'm walking downstairs, the nice janitor lady, she says, "You might get a little wet out there." I say, "Haha, I hope not. I got my umbrella." And I walk outside, and it immediately breaks. My umbrella immediately breaks. I'm trying to walk to my first class, which is like a 10-minute walk, maybe. It's one of my further classes, or at least like a less enjoyable walk. I know that's not very far, but, and I keep walking, and it starts pouring rain, windy to the freaking nines. What did that say? Is that a saying? Um, my headphones are blowing off of my face. And I get halfway there. I realize, wow, I cannot do this. And I turn back around, which I never do, but it felt like this was okay to do in this case because also I was wearing sweatpants, heavy sweatpants, and actually my heaviest sweatpants and my heaviest sweatshirt. I was wearing my heaviest sweatpants and my heaviest sweatshirt, like thickest, heaviest, like weighted practically sweatshirt and sweatpants. And then when it's wet, it's just sitting on me, like dragging me down practically, which is my fault because I look around and in the distance in the haze I can see people wearing shorts. I should have done that because it is like 60 anyway. I don't have any classes today now because for some reason professors cancel class the Wednesday before spring break. Two of my classes, two of my professors cancel class the Wednesday before spring break for those traveling. I still have class on Thursday and Friday. You guys know that. I still have my other classes Thursday, Friday. This is doing nothing for me. Whatever. I'm not complaining, I guess. Anyway, what have you guys been up to? Let me know. This week, I thought it'd be fun to do another advice session, and you guys gave me a lot, actually, which is very helpful, and thank you if you guys participate. If you want to participate, you can follow my Instagram, takeittoheart.pod on Instagram, and yeah, I post updates, I post things, whatever, you know. Anyway, let's get into it. How to stay in routine and continue to work out slash stay motivated in general. And then also another one of my friends said I cannot get myself to start working out. Let's start with actually, okay, let's start with how to start working out. It is very intimidating, it is very daunting. I am lucky enough to have gone to the gym when I was 15 with my dad for like a whole summer practically and longer than that, I think. I would say if you can find somebody to go with you, whether that's someone who's also new or someone who's been to the gym, I can be that person for you. However, I do not like the gym on campus for multiple reasons, and there's 80 billion people there. But to each their own. If you want to buy a day pass to my gym and come with me, that'd be cool too. I think to get yourself to the gym, genuinely, and I've talked about this before, you do not need motivation. You just need discipline. You do not ever need motivation. I rarely have motivation because I've just disciplined myself to go to the gym. I think when people go wrong is when they start thinking in their head, like if you're laying in your bed and you're like, I could go to the gym right now. And then you think about it longer. And of course, anybody, whatever, I guess like fitness influencers are different, whatever. They portray a whole different part of working out. But if you're a regular person, you're laying in bed and you're thinking about working out, you're not gonna do it. If that was me, I'm not gonna do it. I do not let myself think about it. I've trained myself out of thinking about the gym if that makes sense. Like, you literally just, instead of laying in bed and like thinking about the gym, you just have to get your body up, put on workout clothes, and walk out the door. Don't think about it. And I don't know how I can like give a better tutorial than that, but I don't think about it. I just get up and I go. And to tie this into the other one, how to stay in routine and continue to work out, work it into your schedule in a way that you cannot like not do it. Work it into your schedule in a way that you have to go. For example, on Mondays, I have a class from like 9 to 10. And then I have two more classes from 2 to 5. I have this big gap in between. I know that I have the perfect time to go to the gym for about an hour, come back, eat, shower, and then I go to my other two classes. You don't need to be at the gym for an hour. Sometimes I'm there for 45 minutes, especially because I don't always like doing cardio, and so I don't make myself do cardio when I don't want to. Just working it in. And also, something that I've been doing recently, sorry, I'm very like sporadic moving around. I don't know. I have recently been doing way more activities that I would consider working out. Um, just because of the new friends I'm making that love doing activities. Like I both went rock climbing yesterday and played badminton. You don't have to work out in the most horrible ways, because I think putting that in your head that it's just the worst task ever and it's this chore, then you're never going to go. Nobody would ever go then. I would say go to the gym a few times, figure out what you like, figure out what makes you feel strong and what doesn't make you feel strong, and work in a combination of the both whenever you go. Yeah, that's my tangent. Next, I feel impending doom and dread for no reason, even though I'm 90% happy. I think this is tricky because I feel also the same way, and I think maybe that's just human, and the fact that, like, dread makes me think of the fact that everything is temporary, and sometimes you just feel dread of, like, oh, I'm so happy right now. What goes up must come back down, if that's the saying. I think if you're trying to get out of like that weird funky feeling, even though I think again it's just human, is just focusing on what you have in that moment. I think when you start to think about the future, you start to think about how uncertain certain it is, and like that could be horrible, horrible things, but in reality, you always make the best of what you're in, what you're doing, what job you have. You will always be happy because you're able to find happiness in small things. That's what I tell myself. I know that I'm okay no matter where I am because I have me. Yeah. Next, how to get past a grudge. I think the only thing you can do for a grudge is to really lean into being a hater for as long as you need to and for as aggressively as you need to. And then I think maybe if it's like against a certain person, then eventually once you aren't so hateful towards them and it kind of dies off and you become hateful towards other things, just reminding yourself that they're also human. Maybe that's the theme today. We're all human. We're all on this floating rock out in outer space. But you know what I mean. And I think also realizing why it makes you so annoyed or angry to see this one person, and like maybe it's because one time they made you feel dumb, or maybe one time they made you feel smaller than them, or they made you feel insecure about this one part of you. I think breaking down the feeling of annoyance or hatred makes it a lot easier to process, and like bringing it back to you and saying, oh, that's kind of silly that like one time this person just called my shoes weird, and I'm so angry at them because in reality, I just was afraid to wear these shoes and they pointed out something I was afraid of them pointing out, you know? Next. Do I download dating apps again? Personally, I have never been on a dating app. There was a section where I considered getting a dating app and I didn't. I think I think it can be fun. And that's good and that's okay. I would get it I would get a dating app just for the fun of it because I don't see I mean, I know some people who like are marrying somebody they met on a dating app. In my head at this age though, it's not going to be something long term, but if you're down to have short term, then do it. How do you effectively study? Personally, I put on like vibrational frequencies in my ear. I do not play music, like music. If I'm really trying to lock in, then it's vibrations playing in my ear with noise canceling on. That's like if I'm writing a paper. If I'm doing like busy work, then I play elevator music. Not really like real elevator music, but like I have a playlist of more like instrumental, upbeat, poppy music that doesn't have a lot of lyrics or any at all. That's my first recommendation. Second is to put your phone somewhere where you cannot see it. I don't care if it's flipped over right in front of your face, it's not going to do anything. You need to put it where you cannot see it. Most of the time, I'll slide my phone behind my laptop so that I cannot see it. In the past, I've also set timers of like, I need to work. That's usually when I'm writing papers too. I think that's what I struggle with the most is like, I will set a timer for an hour and 15 minutes and I have to be writing that whole time. And I know people say like study for 30 minutes, take off for 5, but that doesn't I don't feel like that does anything. Cuz for me to be able to get in the headspace of like I am completing this long hard task, then taking a break isn't going to do anything except take me out of that mindset. Those are just a few tips. Next. I think I'm working too much that I don't hang out with friends much, but I make bank. And then I had two more that said I have terrible school life balance. I think she spelled balance wrong. I think the best thing you can do to balance school, life, work, fun, friends, everything, get a good calendar and genuinely schedule like your friend times like I use Apple Calendar and I have a different color for everything and like I have its own category. I have recreational as a category, and that's for like if I'm hanging out for friends, if I'm going somewhere, if I'm getting dinner with somebody, getting coffee with somebody. I schedule them in. That makes me sound like I think I'm a hotshot to schedule people in, but that is how I keep myself sane and social. I think with school, and this is something that me and this person have talked about too, balancing school or like not letting school take over your life. I think finding effective ways to study and again keeping yourself on task because I think some people who are like constantly studying or like doing schoolwork or like they have big projects that they leave until the last one. And I'm not calling anybody out. If this is you, that's okay because it's me too. But like people who are waiting until 11 p.m. to go out and like go to their I don't even know what you are typically actively making the choice to push that off and then it's taking up space. I understand, of course, some people are working all day and in classes all day and the only time they have is then, and sometimes that's just the case randomly, but getting your work done early so that you can see friends is a choice and something that everybody has to put effort into if they want to balance that. putting effort into your friends in general is a choice that you have to make. You don't have to make it, but if that's one of your goals and one of your values, and your friends love you and you love your friends, then that's just a choice that you have to make. Next. This one just says, I'm too crazy, how to lessen the crazy low key. I'm pretty sure this person is going through a breakup. I think I'm just going to go with that, and then we can talk about other crazies. I think to go through breakup crazy, the best thing you can do is go as crazy as possible. And not like, you don't have to be doing horrible, horrible things and poisoning your body. That's what I'll say. But I mean, like, you should be posting on Instagram more. You should make a change to your physical appearance. You should, even if it's not, I didn't make a crazy change to my physical appearance, but like, make your eyebrows a little thinner. I got my nose pierced, which is something I've been waiting to do for a while, okay? I didn't do it just because I went through a breakup. Thank you. But I think you have to be crazy for a little, unfortunately. And that's what I thought in the moment too. Even though it's hard and you have so many thoughts in your head all at once, you have to be a little crazy at first. You can't get rid of the crazy. The only way out is through. The only way to lessen it is just to let it happen. And now, on the other note, this one says, I think I'm starting to like my ex again, but everyone in my life hates him. Now, I think it's important to take a heavy, heavy note of why everyone in your life hates him, them, whatever. I think it's important to realize that probably comes from stuff that you were telling them. Here's what I would do. Make a list of all the horrible things. This is for both the last two people. When you're feeling too crazy and that you're starting to like your ex again, go in your notes app and make a list of all of the horrible things that ever happened in the relationship and that have happened to you because of them, or something they said to you or something they did to you. Lock it. Lock the note after you get everything out. And you'll be going back to that note for a while and adding more to it. I think it's important because you can maybe forgive, but you cannot forget. And also, I think it's important to know, like, is this your husband? Is this your husband? Because if not, then you're just going to go through, you will likely just go through a horrible breakup again. Yeah. Make a note. Let me read it. Losing passion for something you thought was your career and goal. I think this is very difficult, and also as we're growing up, as we're in college, it can be very intimidating and daunting, especially when everybody makes you think that you need to have a career in mind. Something that helps me, I think about all of the adults in my life, all the people I look up to, all my family members, all my professors. None of them, I can't think of a single one who have had the same job throughout their entire life and through their entire adult career. I cannot think of one, because that rarely happens, and if that were to happen, I think those people would get so bored. I think then, I'm taking this more in the career sense. It's okay for things to fluctuate. It's okay for you to have certain surges of, wow, this is so interesting to me. I want to do this forever. And other times you're going to be like, wow, I don't like this. I don't know if I can do this forever. This is too hard, or this is too draining, or this is just not interesting anymore. That is completely normal. You're allowed to not be sure. You're allowed to not have the exact plan of your entire life, because nobody ever has. It can be sad losing that passion, and it is. Typically, it's always sad. But again, looking forward to what you can have or what you could have, or even just looking forward to the uncertainty and the amount of options you have, and the fact again that you will always be you, you will always be the person with your job, you will always be next to yourself and able to enjoy what you're doing, hopefully, unless you're the most miserable person ever. And this person is not, I don't think any of you guys are the most miserable person ever, but if you keep a positive mindset, if you keep a positive mindset, then you're fine wherever you go. Because you know that you have you know that you have a good attitude and laughter and joy. And I know I sound like I'm talking like I'm yelling at you or something, but that's the most important thing you can do. Next, I am like chronically constipated. Now, actually, I have some experience with this because, and if you don't like people talking about poop, whatever, you can get over yourself or you can skip this part. Last month, I decided to make this big calendar on my wall with one of the main purposes being to track how much I poop. Because I there was one week, it was the first week of February, where I realized I hadn't pooped in like 6 days. And it's not that funny, but it's funny to me. I hadn't pooped in like 6 days, and I was like, holy shit, holy lack of shit, bro. I need to poop. But I didn't even need to poop. That was the problem. So then I started tracking it to see if my theory of how little I was pooping was correct, and then it was. Wow, I just ran out of storage. Okay, let me get back to it. I started tracking how much I was shitting. And so then I started actually putting effort into, because usually in this, I don't know. I don't put that much effort into pooping. Like I go poop when my body tells me I need to poop, which was never. So then I started putting effort into the food I was eating. These are the things that I found help. Dates, figs, kind of, but mainly chia seed pudding first thing in the morning. Get chia seeds. You can buy like a flat little plastic container of them with billions of chia seeds in there for like $5. There's some bags that are way more expensive. You just add milk to it. You can put yogurt, you could put like peanut butter. I put peanut butter and bananas. Eat that not really as breakfast, but just like appetizer to your day. First thing in the morning, I was pooping 2 times a day. 2 times a day for 3 days. 2 times a day for 3 days after pooping only twice a week. That is my practical advice. I left my chia seed pudding at home over the weekend, so I'm really upset and constipated again. But yeah, next. I'm slowly turning avoidant and I don't wanna. Let me say same. Second, I think, well, I could say two things. I think sometimes you might need a little phase of that where you don't want to tell anybody anything and you want to be secretive and you want to move in silence. That's okay. I mean, avoidant also means just like romantically too, and that's probably what they mean. Um, I'm trying to not be evil in what I say, but also like you're young and I think you're allowed to be confused and kind of lead people on sometimes. But also if you don't want to. I think first honesty with the people you're talking to. And it seems like I've talked to this person about the people they've talked to and they have been being honest with the people, being open, though still some people can get their feelings hurt, which is valid and okay, but I think it's okay to not know and to not be able to constantly give. Next, imposter syndrome. I actually kind of want to do a whole episode on this, but I will say I think it's something that everybody experiences, and realizing that is what can give you more power back. Realizing that nobody actually knows what's going on and who they are and where they want to be. And honestly, I've been having that feeling a lot, or like not imposter syndrome, but just realizing that nobody knows what they're doing. Mainly from like a consumer standpoint, like whenever I'm in stores or like dealing with like customer service, nobody actually knows what's going on. And it kind of drives you crazy, but it also makes you realize everybody's living their life for the first time. But seriously, people people don't really know what's going on either, and that's okay. And I'm sorry that I'm just trying to stop myself from continuing talking because I could talk about this for a long time, and I think I will. No motivation to study for exams. I feel you. I will say the thing again about discipline. You just kind of have to do it, and that's the only way I can get myself to do it, is to realize like this has to get done by this time. No one else is going to do it except for me. That helps. I guess motivation, since it's almost spring break, I would also just say the feeling of freedom you get after finishing your exams might be sweet enough to motivate yourself to be like, I can do this. Or maybe say something like, you can get ice cream after you finish all your exams and you study for them and you do well on them. You could do a little system like that for yourself. Like the kids at elementary school who would get $100 for every A that they got. Maybe it was only $10. I don't know. That was ridiculous. But maybe you can do a system like that for yourself because it's your money. Next, forming deeper relationships past small talk. I feel like this is a big, not issue in college, but like a concern or hope. Something you hope to do because, like, you meet people in class, you meet people in clubs. I think just being patient and being able to realize that forming deeper relationships takes time and, like, again, effort. If you want to keep these friends, make these friendships stronger, you have to be putting effort into them and like scheduling them into your day. And and I'm trying to do that recently with one of my clubs, because one of my clubs I'm not very active in. Well, most of my clubs right now I'm not very active in, but I forget that this is effort that I can put in. This is time. This is not always money, but like again, effort just to put into these things. And that's what pays off, and it will take time. Most effective ways to farm aura. Be yourself. Hey, be yourself. To farm aura, I think putting effort into your outfits. This is my real advice: how to farm aura. How I farm aura. Putting effort into how you look or the outfits you wear. Um, put effort into listening to new music, new podcasts. This is the Take It to Heart podcast. How else do I farm aura? I don't know. That's about it. How to cope with others being better than you at something you thought was your niche. This is a really good question, prompt, whatever, that I find very interesting. Work harder. Just kidding. um, I think realizing that there's always going to be somebody better than you at anything really keeps you humble. I don't know specifically what this person is talking about, but there is always going to be somebody better than you at this. There's always going to be somebody faster, stronger, smarter, more musically talented, more artistically talented, unfortunately. Sometimes it very much lowers your ego when somebody or like you're trying to like teach somebody something new and then they're immediately good at it or can do it already. But I think taking away the jealousy from it and taking away the competition is what helps me in being aware that somebody else's talent does not take away from your own. Somebody else's beauty doesn't take away from your own. Somebody else's grades doesn't take away from your own. You are still doing well. You are still making progress on what you're accomplishing. You are still you. That's the theme of today, actually. Okay, next. I don't know what I want to do with my life and if I want to change my major and career path. Going back to what I said, I think that society puts such a pressure on knowing what you want to do and that you have to know what you're gonna do forever and what's gonna make you money and what's gonna keep you happy. But it's going to take time and things are going to change. You're gonna like one thing one day and like something the next year. You don't have to have it all figured out. Nobody does. Yeah. I think that's all I have for today, guys. I hope you liked this episode. I hope you are able to gain some knowledge from it. I hope you know that you're talented and you're beautiful and you're awesome and funny and caring. Hopefully you are. Hopefully you put effort into those things and your friends. Boom. Wow. Okay. That's all. Love you guys. Have a good week. Happy episode 10. Thank you for sticking around. Like the video, subscribe, 5 stars, whatever. Bye. Mwah.